Welcome back to another episode of Garage Guy following another Dallas Mavericks win. Mavs win! Mavs win! And boy, was it an ass whooping. Let's get into it. Mavericks started the game off with a lot of good looks. Ball just wasn't falling in. But they combated that with a really good team defense. Now that stretched for about 3 minutes because all of a sudden, poor Zingas, pump fake from the three-point line, drives to the rim, and yams it on top of a couple of Grizzlies players. Like, this Yamburger had a couple pieces of extra cheese on it. Like, the confidence he showed going after the rim was just, god damn, it had me excited. Derek Harper on the broadcast, he almost dropped a couple inappropriate words on the broadcast, but it just shows his confidence in coming back from that injury that hampered him for a couple years back and kept him out of the lineup for 18, 20 months. He's all the way back. He's all the way back. Like, the dude is so confident on the offensive side of the floor, it's ridiculous. Defensively, he's making plays. It's fun to watch. Now, another game with early staggered minutes. Luka came out with about 5.5 minutes left in the first quarter, which allowed KP to stay on the floor while Luka was out. Now, when he went out, the ball wasn't moving as crisply around, but when you have guys like Kristaps Porzingis in the zone and S-Dot, Seth Curry is still cooking. The ball, it didn't move. It was stagnant a little bit, but when you have shot makers like that, you save possessions, and those guys have been in the zone. Now, I did make one note. I was trying to give a shout out to a Grizzlies player, Dylan Brooks. He had just made 2 threes, got fouled on a three-point shot, hit all three free throws. So he scored 9 points within like 90 seconds. And he's solid. Like, this is a solid dude. I was like, man, he's got potential. But he followed that up with a clunker. Bad missed three-pointer. And they got a shot blocked like 3 times. So I was like, you got to show me more than that. But he showed flashes. Another guy in this game that showed flashes for the Grizzlies, Josh Jackson. You might recognize that name. He got drafted out of Kansas in Phoenix. Kind of fizzled out there. Ended up with Memphis, and he's slowly starting to get his game back offensively. But Memphis is they're a young team. They're in the playoff picture, but they're not there to take that next step. They're kind of like the Mavericks were last year, with a really good rookie, a lot of young players around him, and a couple vets. Now, those vets just recently got traded off from Memphis, but Ja Morant has the potential of taking a big leap. Not nearly as big as Luka, in my opinion, but you get my drift. Having said that, first quarter, like I said, was a little stagnant, but due to good shot making, the Mavericks were able to keep a lead. And when Luka came back in with 3 minutes left, he was really aggressive, attacked the lane, got a couple N1s, so that was good to see. Keeping in mind his left thumb injury that's been hampering him the past few games. To have that confidence to drive the lane and knowing that you're going to get hit, and chances are players are going to go after that as their advantage. It was good to see him kind of not shine away from that contact. After the first, we're up. Second quarter started off a little rough. Ball was just sticking too much. Ball movement wasn't fluid. Defense was lackadaisical. We got beat on a couple plays. Justin Jackson and Willie Cauley-Stein, I'm going to hit them with the negatives, then positives. Negatives, they had moments where they reminded you why they're not permanent pieces of the rotation. They got beat on defense a couple times. Willie Cauley-Stein was extremely gassed at the end of his stint. I thought we were going to have an accident on the floor. Like, the dude wouldn't even get past half court on offense sometimes after defense. However, they did show signs of life. Justin Jackson hit a couple threes. He was aggressive. He wasn't shying away from shooting the ball, which, if you're a guy that's been as cold as Justin Jackson has been for the past couple months, it's kind of refreshing to see a guy take some shots and not be afraid to take and miss shots. And he was making a couple, so it paid off. Willie Cauley-Stein got a couple good defensive plays. He was scoring down low a little bit too. So I'm hoping those guys, I know they're young, inexperienced on good teams, so I hope they can string together a couple good games and a couple good weeks, so they can at one point be a part of the rotation. Now, do I think they're going to be a part of the playoff rotation? Nah, but it was refreshing to see them kind of show flashes. But KP and S-Dot, Seth Curry, man, they are cooking on the floor at the same time, and it is fun to watch. KP was so hot, he got fouled 8 feet behind the three-point arc. Usually you don't see players get fouled that far away from the basket, but he has been in the zone as of late. The defense respects his ability to spread the floor and hit those shots. So it's fun to watch those guys, especially now that Carlisle's staggering minutes. So when Luka's off the floor, I think he wants KP and Curry on the floor at the same time to really produce that offense with Luka out. And the Mavericks quickly turned a 4-point deficit into a double-digit lead. It just shows how deadly their offense can be. But right before halftime, Curry, KP turned ankles on back-to-back possessions, and then Luka kind of has effects of showing that the lingering effects of his left thumb injury. So all of a sudden, with Tim Hardaway Jr. already out, Dorian Finney-Smith already out, Jalen Brunson already out, and then right before halftime, those three guys kind of have some injuries. It just felt like Thanos snapped his fingers and half our squad is about to be out. However, Curry did not return in the second half, but Porzingis, Luka, they were fine to go. So the rest of the game was pretty much how good the Mavericks played and how bad the Grizzlies played. A little disappointed with John Morant. He really did play like a rookie tonight. He played like a rookie with potential. I'll say that, and that's really what he is. So that's not much of an analysis, but it just felt like he was forcing too much. He made a couple tough contested interior shots, but I feel like he just played like a young player. Last time we played against the Grizzlies, I felt like he played with a lot more composure. Courtney Lee had a lot to do with that, an experienced defensive player. He really shut him down for the most part. Luka tried to get things started, not scoring that much this game. He tried to keep things rolling in the third quarter by attacking the rim and posting up, and that's what good players do when one aspect of your offensive game is not clicking, like his outside shot wasn't. You try to get things going in another way. So that was good to see. KP was just on his game, both ends of the floor, offensively and defensively, and it felt like it fired up the squad. Offense started getting offensive rebounds off of misses and getting putbacks. 3-point shots started going in, and defensively the blocks started coming out. It was another block party for the Mavs today. So KP's really making impressions on this squad, and it's really fun to watch. That team defense that started the game off really kicked into the third, and pretty much my analysis of the third quarter was the Mavericks were really good and the Grizzlies were garbage. So it's saying something with a game without Tim Hardaway Jr., Dorian Finney-Smith, Jalen Brunson, Seth Curry in the second half, and the game in which Luka isn't scoring. In fact, missing 9 straight shots at one point in time in the game. And you're up by 30. That says something about your team, your depth, your offense. And it's really good to see at home because the Mavericks haven't been a consistent, good home team. And they just came off a big win against the Pelicans. They came out with an ass whooping against the Grizzlies, who did just beat their ass right before the All-Star break. So that's good to see. Fourth quarter, Luka did a few Luka things. I know he was going back and forth with Dylan Brooks, kind of running the mouth, and Luka, jacked up a couple shots, got to the rim, hit some shots. So it was good to see him kind of bounce back. I think once he starts jawing a little bit, you see him really, his competitive edge kick up, and it's fun to watch. Like I said, Josh Jackson, young player from Memphis, got his NBA career off to a slow start, but he did show some good things in the fourth quarter. At one point in time in the fourth quarter, with the Mavericks up by 20, Kristaps Porzingis got triple teamed by Memphis. They didn't want him scoring any more against them, but it led to him kicking out to Courtney Lee for an easy 3. And in this game, we got some Boban time, and he hit a 3. Oh man, it was just a good game for the Mavericks. In other words, I talked way too much about this game. This could have been a 10-second video where I essentially just said the Mavericks kicked ass, but I hope you guys are interested in finding out a little bit more in depth about the Mavericks. Like you can obviously tell, this is my squad, so I like being passionate about it. A lot of the people that have been watching the videos and subscribing, they're not necessarily Mavericks fans, but they've been watching because it's educational. Kind of tells you a little bit more if you're not able to catch a game. Kind of the ins and outs of what's making this team really good and fun to watch. So I hope you guys are interested in keep watching these videos. I'm going to try to switch it up and do some more production value to these things, but I'm still trying to figure this stuff out. Plus, when you're watching Mavericks games, it's fun to watch when you're having some fun too. So shout out to Oscar Blues. But I'm going to get back at you on Sunday is the next home game for the Mavs. Got a game against the Pacers, I believe. So stay tuned to that. But hopefully I'll get back at you this weekend. Stay tuned and enjoy your weekend. Stay safe.